Pikmin 4 is out now, and it's far outselling the previous entries in the series. Because of that, many fans don't know what exactly happened in the previous entries. To deliver that information to them, we've got to take a step back. Captain Olimar is a respected pilot back home, where he works for Hokitate Freight, delivering small shipments between planets with his ship, the SS Dolphin. After working himself too much, he decided to take a small vacation for himself, setting out in a random direction in the vastness of space. Unfortunately, space had other plans for Olimar, as while the ship was on autopilot and Olimar wasn't paying attention, a meteor smashed into the side of the ship, sending it careening towards the planet. After crash landing, Olimar found that his ship was missing 30 parts that he probably couldn't leave without, and his life support would only last for 30 days. Fortunately, he landed near both the most crucial piece, the engine, and the red Pikmin, his first contact. Over the course of the remaining 6 to 29 days, Olimar meets the yellow and blue Pikmin, collects all the pieces of his ship, finds a bottle cap to give to his son as a souvenir, and escapes the planet safely, leaving the Pikmin behind. This leads into the events of Pikmin 2. After Olimar's mostly uneventful voyage home, he arrives back at work only to learn that his employer, Hokitate Freight, is in an extreme amount of debt. It turns out that fellow employee Louie had been delivering a very valuable shipment of golden pick carrots when he was ambushed by a giant space bunny which ate his entire shipment. We as the player learn later that Louie ate the solid gold carrots himself and then fibbed about it, but they never learn in-game. They're currently selling off assets that cover the cost, like the ship you just spent a month rebuilding. But even with all that, the company is still 10,100 Pokos in debt. With all hope lost and the gravity of the situation hitting him, Olimar dropped the bottle cap he'd collected for his son, which the ship immediately recognized as having monetary value. Armed with the knowledge that there is treasure just laying around on the Pikmin planet, the company's president sent Olimar, Louie, and the Hokitate Freight ship right back to the planet, not to return until they have enough money to save the company. After a long voyage and a minor crash, Olimar and Louie got to it, quickly clearing the debt they'd been burdened with. While there, they meet purple and white Pikmin, as well as Bulbmin. With the full debt now cleared, Olimar set off to return home, only to realize just before they jumped to lightspeed that Louie was not on board. Too late to turn back, Olimar traveled home and completed the delivery, clearing the company's debt. It was too late though, the president already had dollar signs in his eyes. Olimar's next task would be to return to the planet to collect every treasure he could find, and look for Louie while they were there anyways. Seeing as how he didn't have an associate, the president stepped in to assist in the search, for money. He also didn't waste any time spending money he didn't have, using the money meant for clearing the debt to get the ship gold-plated. The search for money brought them to the lair of the Titan Dweevil, a giant treasure-hoarding spider that had seemingly captured Louie as well. One boss fight later and Louie is saved, and an obscene amount of treasure had been collected. It's suspected by both Olimar and the ship that due to Louie's unusually close connection with bugs, his lack of any harm, and him insisting on being called the King of Bugs, that he was actually controlling the Titan, and was willingly trying to murder his co-workers. What a lovely person. I'm sure he won't do anything that vile again, or even several more times. Oh, also he has now apparently cooked and eaten every creature and plant on this planet, which is horrifying. Anyways, the gang head home and presumably get to chill for a bit. Pikmin 3 has 2 concurrent stories going on, that of Captain Olimar and Louie, and that of the Copaites, Alf, Brittany, and Charlie. Olimar is now relegated to B stories, as the reason he's returned to the Pikmin planet, now dubbed PNF 404, is once again because the company is in debt. This time courtesy of the president himself, who has made a slew of poor business decisions. A few days into their mission, Olimar finds a cosmic drive key, sees it as an object of some value, and pockets it with the intent to give it to his son as a souvenir. Which is interesting because he has 2 kids, but I never see him collecting anything for his daughter. Anyways, on day 5 of his mission, he reaches the formidable oak. Having a rare moment of wisdom, or maybe premonition, Louie warns Olimar to leave, which Olimar disregards because Louie is Louie. He should have listened though, as the creature known as the Plasm Wraith captures Olimar, seemingly drawn to him for some reason. Olimar tries to escape over and over, but the spacesuits that he and Louie currently wear have an emergency sleep mode, where moments of extreme shock cause the wearer to fall asleep, which seems like a really bad feature for someone exploring a hostile planet. Imagine this happening to you. In the main plot of the game, the planet Copai is undergoing a massive food shortage due to the mismanagement of resources. In a last-ditch effort to save their planet, the Copaites sent out research vessels to locate fruit sources on other planets. They found exactly one planet, that being PNF 404, and quickly sent the team of Alf, Brittany, and Charlie to go collect as much fruit as possible and save their home planet. You'll literally never guess what happens next. That's right, they crash land. They all land in separate areas, and the cosmic drive key that the ship requires to get home is lost. Alf lands in a little puddle, discovers red Pikmin, and finds their ship, the SS Drake. After locating Brittany, Rock Pikmin, Yellow Pikmin, and then Charlie, they come to find a log from Olimar where he mentions collecting their key. They don't know what he looks like, so after they find and use the Wing Pikmin to defeat the Scornet Maestro, they encounter a passed-out Louie and mistake him for Olimar, not knowing what he's capable of. In a characteristically Louie-like manner, he steals all of their food and Charlie's rubber ducky, explodes an entire wall with his body alone, and then is immediately eaten by the Quaggled Mire Clubs. When you go to get him and get your stuff back, the Hokotate freight ship is seen crashed on the side of the arena. I genuinely don't know where this fits in the timeline. My best guess is that when Olimar got captured, Louie took and subsequently crashed it there, but then he traveled by foot all the way from the Garden of Hope to the Twilight River only to get eaten? The game isn't clear on this part. So they meet Blue Pikmin, use them to save Louie, tie him up, learn that he is in fact not Olimar, and plot a course to the formidable oak to save him. A long rescue ensues where they have to carry a passed-out Olimar through the oak, outpacing the dreaded Plasm Wraith, then defeat it to incapacitate it long enough to get free. Olimar thanks the Copaids for their troubles, returns the key, and apologizes for Louie's behavior. They drop Olimar and Louie off at home on the way back, and the food shortage is over. Unfortunately, Olimar can't get a break. He and Louie get reprimanded and sent back to the planet, tasked with repairing the broken ship and, getting more money. They succeed in the end, returning home with their fully repaired ship. So this next part might not be canon, but it's really short, so I'm gonna mention it anyways. In Hey Pikmin, Olimar's finally gotten some recognition for his hard work, as he's flying his snazzy new ship, the SS Dolphin 2. He flies it into some asteroids, crashes on a brand new planet that manages to also have Pikmin and Pikmin enemies, and has to replenish his fuel by finding his missing Sparklium converter, as well as 30,000 Sparklium. He beats a big crazy plant dragon that is actually controlled by the 4th goo creature that has appeared in this franchise, then gets home safely, probably. I say probably because this is the final game in the timeline. You might be wondering, where does Pikmin 4 fit in then? Not in this canon. Pikmin 4 does the unthinkable and retcons the previous games, being both Olimar's and the rest of the world's first exposure to the Pikmin species. The story starts when Olimar's ship, the SS Dolphin, is struck by a meteorite, and he crash lands into the planet of the Pikmin. With the help of red, yellow, and blue Pikmin, as well as Moss, the lovable green dog character, he repairs his ship by finding 30 missing pieces, while sending out an SOS signal with his interstellar radio in the process. As he goes to leave the atmosphere, he notices that Moss has snuck into his ship, and seems to be in great danger due to it. He makes an emergency return to the planet, crashing again in the process. Unfortunately, he doesn't feel so good this time, and the Pikmin carry him into an onion, turning him into the first Leafling. Olimar's SOS signal reaches the Rescue Corps, a group dedicated to saving castaways. They are bad at their jobs though, because the first thing they do is come to the same planet and also crash their ship. You, the player character, are rescuing the Rescue Corps, Olimar, and at least 50 other people. Also, congratulations! You're the only pilot in the Pikmin universe to visit this planet without crashing your spaceship even one time. While you're here, you meet the Red Leafling, who is going around and converting other castaways into Leaflings as well. After learning how to cure them, you and Ochi make sure to rescue every Leafling as well as every other castaway, and eventually manage to save Captain Olimar. Unfortunately, Louie is here. Nobody is sure why, but Olimar suspects he was sent here to rescue him. He didn't, because he's Louie, and instead goes around making Leaflings all the time. To complicate matters further, Ochi has become ill with the dog form of being a Leafling, and can't leave the planet until he's cured. It's in this part of the game where you have to rescue some specific castaways. York, Nell, and Don Bergman, all of which are from Kopai, and are each related to the characters from Pikmin 3. They help make some special serum to cure Ochi using something you get from the final boss, which is also controlled by Louie because he sucks really, really hard. In the end, all of the ships are repaired and everybody escapes safe and sound. Now you could view this as being completely isolated from the other Pikmin games, but many fans believe this is supposed to retcon 1 and parts of 2, but not Pikmin 3. The game alludes to events that happen in Pikmin 2 as being potential future events, simply dreamed up by the characters, but this game is very careful not to step on the lore of Pikmin 3. So for this timeline, Pikmin 4 starts it, then something very similar to Pikmin 2 happens in the middle, followed by Pikmin 3. Don't ask me why Olimar doesn't recognize rock or winged Pikmin in that game, I simply can't see or hear it. So there you have it, the Pikmin timelines. I never thought the series would get big enough to have more than one, but here we are. Maybe it wasn't really about the treasure, but the ship crashes we made along the way.